What's going on, everyone? You are welcome to Web Chrony Online. In this tutorial we will learn about JavaScript array methods. In this video we will explore essential array operations. We will delve into various array methods that make working with arrays efficient and convenient. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because I appreciate that a lot. And with that being said, let's open the console and begin. Okay guys, so before we begin writing some codes, let's take a moment to understand what an array is. An array is a data structure that allows storing of multiple values in a single variable. Unlike data types such as string, number, or boolean, an array can hold multiple data to a single variable. An array can hold any data type of JavaScript. Let's begin by learning how to declare some variables. Now there are two ways of declaring variables in an array. The first method is called the square bracket, and with the second one we use an array construct. So I will declare a variable called my array and bring my equal sign. Then in a square bracket I will bring all the elements, each element being separated by a comma. And like I stated earlier, an array data type can hold different data types. So for example, the first one can be a string, the second one can be a number, let's say 33, the third one can be a boolean, let's say false, the next one can be an object, so let's say username, and let's set it to John Snow. And then let's say email, let's set email to, let's say John Snow at hbo.got, like this. Then we can also have an array in an array. So let's say king in the north, let's say the white wolf, let's say Lord Commander, like this. If I call my array, I will obtain an array. So if I want to look at the details of the element in the array, I'll just click on this arrow. Now I will declare a new array using the second method, which is the array construct. And in this one I'll say let my array2 equal to, I'll bring new keyword followed by array like this, and inside the bracket I will put all the elements that I wish to have in this array. So let's say I'll call this one name, I'll call the next one 33, I'll have the next one, let's say this time around is true. I will have an object of, let's say username, and set this one to, let's say aya stack, like this. Then I'll say email to, let's say aya stack at hbo.got, like this. Then I can also have some array inside this one, and let's say the hero of Winterfell, like this. So if I call my R2, I will obtain an array. So these are the two methods of declaring an array, and as you can see, the first one has name of data type string, the second one 33 has data type number, the third one true data type boolean, the next one data type object, and then the last one data type array. So this tells us how powerful an array can be. Alright guys, so what we are going to do next is to manipulate the elements of an array, and we will begin by finding the number of elements an array has. So in this case I'll declare a new variable, so I'll call this one fruit and assign it to an array of strings, only strings. So I will have apple, I will have let's say mango, I will have let's say orange, and finally I will add grape. So this is an array that I have declared containing fruit, and I want to find the number of elements contained in an array. We use the .length method to find the number of elements contained in an array. So with that, I'll just call the fruit array and then say .length like this, and I'll obtain 4. So what this means is that the array of fruit contains 4 elements. Now the next thing that we are going to do is to find elements of an array based on their index. To find the element of an array based on the index, we just write the name of the array, we bring our square bracket, and inside the square bracket we will bring our index. So when I say 0, it returns an apple because apple is the first element of the fruit array. If I call this same method again and this time around I say 1, I get mango, which is the second element. 2, I get orange, which is the third element, and of course 3, I obtain grape, which is the last element. Now suppose I do not know the length of the array, I can use a combination of the .length minus 1 to obtain the index of the last element. So I will have fruit dot, I will call the fruit again .length and then minus 1, and I will obtain grape, which is the last element of the array. Okay guys, so at this moment we are going to talk about finding the index of an array. Now what we mean by finding an index of an array is when we know that an array contains a particular element and we want to find out the index of that element. So let's do that. So I will just call my array, which is called fruit, then I'll bring my index of keyword. Don't forget the index of is camel cased. So inside the bracket I'll bring the element that I wish to find. So let's say I wish to find the index of mango. I'll obtain 1, which is the second element of the array called fruit. I can do the same for grape like this, and it will return 3, which is the 4th element in the array. So let me try something that does not exist. Let's say I try melon. I obtain -1, and what the -1 means is that melon cannot be found in the array. So this is how we find the index of an array using the index of method. Okay guys, so we are moving on to the include method, and this method is used to find out whether an array contains a particular element. So to find out whether an array contains a particular element, we call the array, in this case fruit, and call the include method like this. So inside the parentheses we can type what we are looking for. So for example, I'm trying to find out if this array of fruit contains apple, and if it returns true, it means that apple is included in the array. Now let's try melon. Melon is not included in the array, or is not contained in the array, therefore it returns false. So we use the include method to find out whether an element is contained in an array. Okay guys, at this moment we are going to learn how to modify elements using their index. Arrays are mutable data type. What this means is that their elements can be changed, and we can do so by accessing the index of the element we wish to change and reassigning it to a new value. So let's say I call the array fruit and I wish to change the first element, which is apple. The first element will have index of 0, and if I bring equal sign and then now say lemon, if I call fruit, the first element will be lemon. So this is how we modify an element based on its index. Let's try to modify the last one. Pause this video and then try and do it by yourself. Okay guys, so how did it go? Let me see in the comment section whether you had it right. So to change the value of the last element of an array, we call the array, in this case fruit, then inside the square bracket we call fruit dot length minus 1, and we obtain grape, which is the last one, reassign it to, let's say, avocado, like this. So if I call fruit next time, the last element will be avocado instead of grape. Alright, so at this moment let's take a look at how to remove elements from an array. There are two ways of removing elements from an array. Either you remove the last element or you remove the first element. The shift method will remove the first element of an array and return the rest of the element in the array. So let's try this. I'll call the fruit dot shift like this, and if I enter, the lemon has been removed. So if I call fruit, now there is no lemon. And to remove the last element, we have what we call the pop method. So if I call fruit dot pop, it will remove the last element, which is avocado. So when I call fruit like this, I now have only two elements. Okay guys, so if we can remove, it means we can add, and there are two methods of adding at the moment. The first method will add the element as a first element, and the second method will add the element as the last. So I will call fruit and say dot unshift like this, and whatever I wish to add as the first element of the array will be written in the bracket. It can be any data type at all, but because we are working with string at the moment, I will say mango. Okay, we already have mango, so I will say lemon, back to lemon. So if I call fruit like this, the lemon will come. Let me add another one. Let me call fruit dot unshift, and let me add the apple as the first element. So if I call fruit like this, the apple now becomes the first element because we are using the unshift method. Now the second method, which is called the push method, will add the element as the last element of the array. So let me call my fruit dot push like this, then into brackets I will add my element that I wish to add. It can be of any data type, but at the moment we are working with string. So let me say I will add avocado, and if I call fruits again, avocado has now been added as the last element. Let me try and add, let's say, fruits dot push, and I will push, let's say, guava like this. So if I call fruit, I will have guava as my last element. So we use the shift element to remove the first element of an array, the unshift method to add a new element as the first element of the array. We use the pop element to remove the last element of an array, and we use the push method to add a new element as the last element of an array. Okay guys, at this moment we are going to sort the element in an array. We are going to arrange them in order. To do this, we have a method called the sort method. Now it works a bit different from all the methods that we have discussed so far, so I'll call on you to pay critical attention to what we are going to do here. So I will call the fruit and say dot sort like this. Now inside the brackets I will have two parameters. And what this means is that I will bring another parenthesis and I will say A and B. Okay, I will explain to you a bit later. Bring my equal sign and then the greater than sign. I will say A greater than B, like this. So if I call the method, it will rearrange the element in order of alphabet. So I can assign it to a variable. Let sorted fruit equal to fruit dot sort into bracket, another bracket, A comma B, bring an arrow which is the equal sign and then the greater than sign, and I will say A greater than B, like this. So if I call sorted fruit, it will return an array in order of alphabet. If I change the greater than to the less than, it will reverse it. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so I'll just call this method again, and this time around change the greater than sign to less than sign. So I'll hit the top arrow until I obtain this one and change this to less than. So it will return an array in a reverse order. Okay guys, so I'll create another array of cities. So let cities equal to, let's say I have Accra, like this. I will have Kumasi beginning with a small letter. There is some I want to prove a point, so I will have another one called Tamale, like this. Then I'll have another one Kasua, like this. Then I'll have another one called Winneba, like this. Now I'm going to try to sort this data or this array, and we will find out what happens. So I'll call cities dot sort into bracket, another bracket, A comma B, and I'll bring my arrow like this, and I'll say A greater than B, like this. Now look at what happens. You see that Accra comes first, Kaswa comes second, Tamale comes third, Kumasi comes first, and Winneba comes last. But under normal circumstance, Kumasi should have come before Tamale. But the reason why we are obtaining this is because JavaScript is very case sensitive. So it will begin by sorting the one that has been capitalized, and then after that it will sort the rest. To avoid such problem, we have to take this a step further. So let's do that. So I will say cities dot sort into bracket, another bracket, A comma B, like this. I'll bring my arrow and I'll say A dot to lowercase. You remember from JavaScript method on string, okay, like this, greater than B dot to lower case, like this. So if I call it this way, you realize that it has rearranged the arrays very well. So Accra, Kaswa, Kumasi, Tamale, and Winneba. Okay guys, so at this moment we are going to filter our elements in the arrays that we have created. Okay guys, so let's begin by filtering the fruit. So I'll bring my fruit dot the filter method. Now inside the filter method, we will take what we call a callback function, and this callback function will take one parameter. Because it will take one parameter, another bracket is not necessary. So I will call this callback fruit, like this, and bring my arrow. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to filter all the fruit that contains certain characters. So I will say fruit, which is the one that we set as parameter, dot includes into bracket. Let's call all the elements that contain O. So as you can see, we have the orange, the mango, the lemon, the avocado. So if I call n, now it's only lemon that has on following like that. Now let me come back and call m, I will have mango and lemon. If I bring o, it's only lemon that remains. If I delete the m, I get back to mango and lemon, and if I say a, I'll get only mango. So this is how to filter an array. I will call cities like this and call my filter method to it, and I will say this time the parameter will be city. I'll bring my arrow and I'll say city dot includes into bracket, let's try t. I think there is that, you see tamale is spelled with t, but tamale is not showing because JavaScript is very case sensitive, and the t we have in tamale is capital. So if I say capital T, then tamale will show. Now let's try K. You see that we have Kaswa and Kumasi, but only Kumasi is showing because we are using the small k. If I remove the small k and bring a capital K, I'll get Kaswa because JavaScript is very case sensitive. Now let's move on to the find method, and like I said earlier, the find method is used to find the first element that matches the description that we give. The syntax for the find method is the same as the filter method. So let me call my fruits and call my find method. It will take a callback function with one parameter. So I'll call this one fruit like this, bring my arrow and say fruit dot includes into bracket, and you see that even though I bring an empty string, it shows only orange, and that is because with the find method it finds the first element that matches the description. If I bring m, I'll have mango, while when I try the same method with the filter, I obtain both mango and lemon. Now let me try L, I get lemon. Let me try G, I get orange, even though we have grape in it and grape begins with G, but the method says we should bring the first element that matches the description that we give. Okay guys, so at this moment we are going to look at a method called the slice method, and what this method does is it returns an array from an array, and this is how it works. You call the array that you wish to perform the slice method on, you bring the slice method, and the slice method will take two parameters. The first one is the start index and the second one is the end index. What these two parameters do is that the first index or the start index will tell the method where to begin the extraction, and then the end index will tell the slice method where to end the extraction. So let's say I wish to begin from the third element, and don't forget that the third element will have an index of 2. So if I bring 2, as you can see, it has taken away the orange and mango and it has returned the remaining element of the array called fruit. What this means is that if you do not supply any value for the end index, it will do the extraction from where you have asked it to begin to the very end. But let's say I bring an end index of 4, then it will return the third and then the fourth element. So this is how the slice method works. Okay guys, so the last method that we are going to talk about before we conclude this lesson is called the splice method. And what the splice method does is that it can be used to remove or replace elements in an object. With the splice method we can also add new objects. So let's look at how the splice method works. So I will call my fruit and say dot splice, like this. Now this splice method can take so many parameters based on what you want to do, but there are two that are very important and they should always come. The first one is the start index, that is where you want to begin the removal. Then the next one is called the delete count, which is the number of items or elements you wish to delete from the array. Then from there you can add the new elements that you wish to add. So let's begin by deleting some elements from the array. So let's say I want to start deleting from index 1, and I want to delete, let's say, 2. So if I call this function or this method, it means that orange and lemon has been deleted from the array. So if I now call fruit, you see that orange and lemon are not found in fruit. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add them back using the same splice method. So I will call my fruit and say dot splice into brackets, and the first one I'm going to start deleting from the 0, which is the first element of the array, and I'll delete only 1. Don't forget this method will delete the mango, but I wish to add it back, so I will say mango, comma, lemon, which was also deleted, comma, and let me say orange, which was also deleted. So orange, like this. So if I call the method, it means that mango has been deleted, but we have added it here back again, no problem. So let's call the fruit and see. So we have the mango back there, lemon, orange, guava, avocado, apple, and the rest. So this is the splice method. It is an interesting method that can be used to manipulate arrays. Okay guys, so in the next tutorial we will delve a bit deeper into arrays, but our interest will be array of objects and array of arrays. So we will take a look at how to manipulate arrays that contains objects and arrays that contains arrays. So that will be the end for this video, guys. I really appreciate you for watching this video to the very end. I thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because there are so many incredible content coming up. Very soon we will start building projects, and it will be very interesting to see you subscribe to my channel. Like this video if you learned a thing or two, and post your comments. I will read them and respond to all your questions. Until we meet again in the next tutorial, peace out.